It's been a while since I updated my series on TV shows that have a happy ending for the Sapphic characters, and having collected more options that fit the description, I thought it was time I let you know about them. Most are not recent, I just haven't mentioned them previously on the series. If you want to catch up on the shows I've already talked about, I've linked the video in the title cards, and if you have any further suggestions, please put them in the comments. Now this first one is a show from decades ago called Bad Girls, a UK TV show that follows the lives of women in jail and the people who take care of them. Among the women in jail is Nikki Wade. She is an out lesbian and develops feelings for the new wing governor, Helen Stewart, who takes a particular interest in Nikki, encouraging her to study for her A-levels. She's devastated when she finds out Helen has a fiancé, but nonetheless lets Helen know how she feels, and while Helen spurns the advances, her head is turned, so much so that she breaks it off with her fiancé. There are more obstacles in their way, not least of which is one is in jail and the other working for the jail. However, a genuine relationship of love and support emerges from this unlikely place, and it ends well for them, which, given this was the early 2000s, makes this revolutionary representation. This wasn't the only Sapphic representation on the show, but I can't speak to how any of the other storylines worked out, so do let me know in the comments if you know. I have a playlist for the Nikki and Helen storyline in the description. Call the Midwife is a show that has been going for 14 years about midwives in East London and follows their lives in the 1950s to 70s. Patsy joins the show in season 3 and her girlfriend follows in season 4, but given it's the 1950s, it's not exactly accepted, especially since many of the midwives are nuns. There are some ups and downs for the couple, including some amnesia for Delia, who has an accident on a bike, but they eventually leave the show together. This next one is a Brazilian telenovela from 2015 called Babilonia. As you would expect from a telenovela, it's all about the high-stakes drama where two childhood friends become arch enemies, with one of them framing the other for murder. Here, the Sapphic relationship is between the lead Beatrice's mother Estela and her partner Teresa, who are raising her orphaned grandson together. They appear on the show for 18 out of their 143 episodes, so it's not a major storyline, but I am to understand it ends well for both of them. Tig Notaro gave us a happy ending with her semi-autobiographical TV show One Mississippi, which follows Tig as she goes back to her hometown in Mississippi following the death of her mother and struggles to deal with the loss. As in real life, she meets a woman called Kate, played by her real-life wife Stephanie Lynn, and a romance that echoes their real-life experience blossoms. At the end of the show, it looks like things won't work out for the women. However, since it's on this list, we know it does. The couple of Maze and Eve end their run on the TV show Lucifer in a happy place too. The show follows Lucifer, who is tired of serving the underworld and decides to spend some time amongst humans to better understand them. Mazikeen, also known as Maze, is a demon from hell, one of Lucifer's trusted lieutenants. When she meets Eve, as in Eve from Adam and Eve, she finds herself falling for her, which stirs up all these emotions she doesn't feel equipped for. And while Eve is initially caught up on Lucifer because she and Adam had a threesome with him once, she ultimately realizes she has big feelings for Maze too. In Casa de las Flores, a Mexican telenovela, it follows their family as they deal with the fallout of their father going to jail. Paulina, the eldest daughter, has separated from her husband, who then comes out as transgender. Years later, she contacts her ex-husband, now called Maria Jose, and she discovers that she still has feelings for her, leading to a rekindling of their relationship. Deadloch got what appears to be its second and final season, and it is to date the gayest thing I've seen all year. Season 1 follows Sergeant Dulcie Collins, who has to work with Detective Eddie Redcliffe, flown in from Darwin, when a series of men turn up murdered in her sleepy lesbian town in Tasmania, while also working through some marital issues with her wife Kath. After solving those murders, she and Kath wind up in Darwin with Eddie, trying to solve the mystery death of Eddie's previous work partner, and it leads to a croc-infested investigation with more queer shenanigans than I expected, and it was delightful. Of course, most importantly, all the Saphics involved, because there are many, all wind up safe, sound, and with their own happy ending. Then there is Mrs. Fletcher, which has an uplifting ending rather than a straight-up happy one. It's about a single mother who, after her son has left for college, finds herself with free time for the first time in her adult life. She begins to explore her sexuality, which includes some intense fantasies about other women, and as she steps into her desires, she uncovers a depth to herself she didn't know she had. The ending was somewhat ambiguous in that it's not clear if, after the threesome with her lesbian work colleague and a young man, she continues a relationship with either of them or with both of them, but it does end with her having explored her Sapphic desires, so I call that a win. In a similar way, Rosa Diaz gets a happy ending, but it doesn't involve having a partner. Instead, by the end, she is busy working as a successful PI, private investigator, which is perfectly suited to her personality. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a comedy series about a group of cops from New York's 99th precinct. Rosa is one of the main characters with a caustic, deadpan wit, which hides a heart of gold. In season 5, she comes out as bi, and while that is well received by her work colleagues, it is a different matter when it comes to her parents. Over the show, she has a number of relationships, including a couple of girlfriends that last an episode or two. I have more options coming up in a future video, and in the meantime, check out the other videos on my channel, and I will see you next time, lady lovers.